What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Underdog Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Nolan Ski, and alongside Antonio Fiore, Salestrina. Gentlemen, here we are again.
Back again.
I was going to say, good thing you didn't say how are we doing like normal because our picks were awful.
Mine were better.
Besides Nolan. Sal did bad. I did really bad.
Bad weed for the couch.
I feel like every time you say you hate the board, you got to stop saying that because every time you say that.
I think every time I say I hate the board, I do bad. But like I know before the week starts that it's going to be bad.
But when you go in with that energy, that's what you get back.
But I know when I like games and when I don't like games, and it was very obvious that I didn't like the games to pick last week.
I felt dyslexic looking at the board last week.
It just felt...
It was a foreign language that I could not read.
I felt left-handed, so it was like...
Okay.
I didn't wager as much as week one, obviously, so I'm glad I didn't lose a lot of money, but if I did, I would have gotten my ass torn up week two, so...
Me too.
Week three, here's...
A little better about week three.
I feel phenomenal heading into this week. I'm going 3-0 and pick 3.
Okay. I like you. See, this is what we need.
3-0 or your money back.
Okay.
I don't know who I said it to. Maybe it was you on Monday night when I was here watching the game. But looking at the board last week, I saw all the games, and even though it was 16 games being played with all 32 teams, it still didn't feel like that was all the games. Mm-hmm. Like I'd look at it and be like, What about? This doesn't seem like this is the whole thing.
Well,
like the matchups were just so...
We talked about this in one of our prediction episodes. We talked about how we're excited on week one. It doesn't matter what the matchups are. And then by week 3 and 4, we're like, these matchups suck. Yeah. And it doesn't matter but we do this every year. But it's
not as bad this week.
It is still football. And usually those bad games end up being good games.
Like Washington-Denver should have been a bad game. And
exactly.
Being a good game.
Exactly. So I'm excited. I'm always excited.
It's football.
It's football.
You have to be excited.
All right. Notable week 2.
I was going to say, what's the biggest headline from week 2 heading into week 3?
Just how bad some of these teams are.
Out of all the 0-2 teams, who has the most panic? Like, who should be the most worried?
What do you mean most worried? If it's a team that's supposed to be bad,
most worried in the sense that their season's not going to go according to plan.
Probably the Bengals.
I was going to say right now the Bengals, even though they did start 0-2 last year,
it's a different kind of 0-2.
It's a different kind of 0-2 because Burrow, you're not really sure what's going on with
Burrow's
that calf
probably
right now.
not playing Monday night. The line reflects that right now.
Right.
They lost not only 2 games but 2 divisional games. So it's like you're already behind the 8 ball in that fact. The only way they make the playoffs is if they sneak into a wild card, and they have a tough schedule.
Tough schedule and a tough division. So 0-3 would not.
No, there's a stretch of games they play where they go to Kansas City, they play the Bills, they play the Dolphins, and then they play the Ravens in 5 weeks. So it's they don't have time to try to figure this out. They need to start playing well now. So I agree about the Bengals, honestly.
So then they play the Rams Monday. They play Titans, Cardinals, Seahawks.
So a slow stretch, but then it gets really hard after that.
Then Niners, Bills, Texans, Ravens. Yeah, so
Chiefs.
Chiefs, they don't play until week 17.
But they still play all of them,
yeah. And then they end the season with the Browns.
Wow, normally you don't get a matchup like that late in the season. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, but they play the Vikings in there. They play the Jaguars in there.
There's some winnable games.
Some tough matchups, so I don't know. We'll see.
There's winnable games, but they are hard matchups.
Still not out on the Bengals, but this is definitely concerning.
No, I'm not either. Other 0-2 teams that I would consider maybe going into panic mode that weren't supposed to be bad. Chargers and Denver. Chargers definitely.
Denver wasn't supposed to be good.
Denver had expectations.
Had some expectations, I guess. I would say the Chargers had more expectations than Denver heading into this season. Their win total was,
no, they definitely did.
Their win total was higher. People thought more of them. We've said it. We keep saying it. Brandon Staley's the worst coach in the league.
I think if they lose this week, he's one of the first to get canned.
Their defense he's
on the hot seat for sure. I'd say he's on the hot seat now.
But that's the thing with him. He's a defensive head coach. Why do all of these games? Herbert has to put up 30 in order for this team to win.
Yeah.
And
he's not even doing crazy shit like going for it on 4th and whatever anymore.
Yeah, he was doing that a lot last year.
For him.
Yeah.
That was always his thing. But that was always his thing. It's like, oh, it's 4th and 3rd.
He would do outrageous
4th and 3,
or even like a fucking 4th and 8 or something. When you're still
on
in
his own
territory.
on his own 35 with like 7 minutes left.
He's like, just go for it, whatever.
Yeah, he's definitely first on the chopping block, I'd say.
But does firing him get them to the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know what their coaching situation is and who maybe would be there that they like.
Who's their offensive coordinator?
Kellen Moore there as an offensive coordinator, but I'm not sure how much
Brandon Staley's out of there.
I know, but I'm not sure how much he wants to be the head coach of the team. Because I think he could have been a head coach if he wanted to.
In Dallas?
He could have been not in Dallas. He could have been the head coach of Dallas, low key.
No, well, that too. But like him leaving Dallas, like he was a very
shut this window.
Keep going. What word am I looking for? He's a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Very sophisticated.
Had a really good reputation throughout the league. So if he was going out for a head coaching job, he probably could have gotten
it. Very sophisticated playbook and play calling.
Sophisticated.
Right. So
I could not say that word.
If he didn't throw his name out there for possible head coaches in the offseason, I'm not sure how enthusiastic he'd be about taking over this team mid-season.
But I think at some point he's got to do it, right?
Yeah, I don't see why if Staley gets fired, it's not him.
If they go 0-3, 0-4, he's definitely getting fired at the end of the season. Would they fire him in the middle of the season?
I was just going to say, I don't think the Chargers are like that kind of team that would just can their head coach like 4 games in. They don't feel like
No, this is like really soon.
Yeah, like, but also
they have to, but they won't.
Right, but if they go 0-4, like, are you digging yourself out of that hole really? And at that point, is it worth it to fire your coach in the middle of the season?
I mean, yeah.
But if he's not going to stick, if he's not going to stick around next year, if you're going to fire him at the end of the year anyway, you might as well just get
I'd rather get the guy that, because they bring in Kellen Moore. They probably bring in Kellen Moore thinking into the future, like, okay, Brandon Staley's probably not our. We could see him if we have to. So I'd rather him do it now if we're 0-4. Give him a little time when in a season that doesn't really matter anymore. And then come back next season with a full ready to go. Instead of next year's week 1 being his first game, I'd rather it be no really pressure going on. He can kind of just work his way into it. That would be what I would be.
Well, even
if I was the GM, but I'm not. So
well, even going back to that, like honestly, I was gonna say like, would the Chargers even care about looking bad if they fired Staley at 1-4 or 0-4? Because like it's bad if you keep them the whole year. You look bad for still having them, and they still suck. And
it's bad if you keep them and you go like 6-11.
This sounds ridiculous, but I bet like the Chargers are so like not wealthy as an organization. They'd be like, well, we're not going to pay him to sit at home for 13 weeks.
Oh, like, Spanos would never.
Yeah, like
that could definitely be a factor too.
I could just see that. So regardless of what they should do, they probably don't end up firing him.
Here's the test: if they actually care about this organization, they'll fire him mid-year.
Just say hypothetically the Vikings beat them like 38-0 Sunday. Like
he should get fired.
He should get fired immediately after the game.
If they give up over 100 rushing yards to the Vikings, he should get fired after that.
That team can't run the ball
because
so
they can't run the ball. They
don't
even.
He should have got fired after that fucking Raiders game.
Where he called timeout, yeah.
Where they called timeout.
Yeah.
He should have got fired after that game.
Yeah, that was bad.
He's on borrowed time to begin with. This is just validated.
It just seems like a wasted season from them. It's like they could have been so promising this year, and they still have like a lot of pieces.
I know. It's at this point where I really wish Justin Herbert ended up somewhere else.
See that? Like, I don't know if he should end up somewhere else.
I just have no care for the Chargers.
I liked the weapons though, and I liked the offense. I just think it's not. There's like not a direction. Everyone's just like it's like everyone's a one-man band. There.
It seems like they don't care.
Yeah,
and. Also, honestly, too, it's hard to care when you play in the same place that the Rams play. You don't really have your own sort of like fan base.
I was going to say, there's no culture surrounding that team.
There's no culture. That's a perfect way
There's
to put
nothing
it.
Great about being a Charger.
Well, but that's where they need that coach to come in. This is what Dan Campbell's done in Detroit. Detroit had this problem, and they brought in a guy who really cared, who was really passionate, and decided to build it up. They need that again. They need that from somebody.
The move to Los Angeles was stupid from them.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion at all. They had a fan base down there.
Yeah, I mean,
it
people
waters
weren't
down
really
their fan
showing up
base.
the last few years, but they were awful.
Mm-hmm.
And like Colin Cowherd loves to say, it's like they have a million teams in LA. It just gets watered down.
No,
no one really cares.
And it's not really a football town. It
No,
really
it's
isn't.
it's a Lakers and Dodgers. Lakers and Dodgers.
Lakers and Dodgers own that city.
Yep.
Yeah, that's literally it. That's why the Angels will forever be cursed because of that, and now the Chargers will forever be cursed.
I think this Chargers-Vikings game is one of the most interesting early season games in like 10 years. Because
I feel like a lot is riding it for both teams.
For both teams. To say the Vikings go 1-3, they're just sitting back like, do we blow this shit up? Like, is this...
Because the Vikings being 0-3 is also very dicey.
I could see a scenario which the Vikings are 0-4 or 0-5 and they trade Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's what he's already starting to pop up in some trades.
I might have said that on the last pod, but I truly believe that. It's like, if they're not winning games and he's going to walk next year, why would you not try to do something for him?
I was going to say, try and get yourself...
I don't know if he's in a position to walk, though.
Isn't he a free agent? I thought his contract...
No, I know, but I don't think he's in a position to kind of just hold that over their head.
Do you think
like,
a team
well,
would
I'm
give...
walking next year. He's not that type of fucking... He's not that type of guy.
But
he knows he robbed the bank with this deal anyway.
But his like common sense would say, okay, well, he's going to try to sign another big deal, and I don't think the Vikings are going to throw more money at him.
No, definitely not. They fucked up with this deal.
I want to make sure his contract is up because I'm pretty sure I'm right. But...
Didn't they give him an extension from the original deal when he came over?
If they trade him...
How many years has he been there? This is his
while.
Third or fourth?
It doesn't feel like a while, but
it might be his fifth, Nolan.
His fifth?
I think it's his fifth year.
For as long as we've been doing the podcast. He only played
2 or 3 years for the Redskins.
For as long as he's been doing the podcast,
he's been there. This is his last year under contract.
Well, no, we were doing the podcast for the You Like That.
No, I don't think so.
No, we weren't.
We started this in, 2018? He was on the Vikings by then. So it's got to be at least 4 years.
He was in the... I don't know if he was in the Vikings in 2018. It might have been the year after that.
I think the year... we might have started the year he went.
Maybe, because Case Keenum was the quarterback before him. They went 13-3. They lost to the Eagles in the NFC Championship. That's the 2017 season.
That was after the Minnesota Miracle.
He's been there since 2018.
18.
The year we started the podcast.
You're right. The year we started the podcast.
Was the year
we're Kirk Cousins guys.
We're his curse, pretty much, I think.
Kirk's Cousins guys now.
We're Kirk's Cousins guys now. Yeah.
And it's like he's having a good season now, too. Like, he's throwing...
Yeah, he threw for 270 for 4 touchdowns the other day.
That's right.
He's got 700 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 pick with a 114 QBR right now.
I mean, that first game that they played, he was faded because he fumbled 2 times.
Yeah, I forgot about that, actually.
And he had a pick in that game. Yeah. But it was it was the most Kirk Cousins game I've ever seen. But in that primetime game, he was fine.
They were bad in the first half, and then he was like, oh, I have to start trying. I forgot.
But that's how they are. They're a comeback sort of team. They're kind of like the Giants, where the Giants are always down and they try to come back.
Yeah.
The Vikings are the same way, and it puts you in a bad spot when you play really good teams with really good defenses.
They were 11-1 in 1-score games last year, and they've had 2 1-score games this year, and they've lost
0-2. It's called regression. Look it up.
Is a lot of that losing Dalvin Cook? They don't have really a run game anymore.
I'm just not enthusiastic about them really in the least bit.
Possibly, maybe a little, but
I mean, I'm happy that Justin Jefferson's on my fantasy team.
He
doesn't even have to score touchdowns, and he gets 20 fantasy points.
Here's another Sal gambling story. I had a bet with Alan, and it was Vikings spread and the over in the game, and Justin Jefferson to score on Thursday night. And what does he do?
Everything else but score.
He fumbles
the
end zone.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
That was a tough one.
That
probably lost him the game, too.
Oh, I knew as soon as he didn't score the touchdown there, I was like, oh, so he's not scoring all night.
Well, when I saw it in real time, I was like, he might have fumbled that out of the end zone. Yeah. And then they showed the replay. I was like,
he fumbled that.
He fumbled out of the end zone.
How about your Broncos 0-2, sir? What happened there?
That was a pretty exciting game.
It was an exciting game.
I kind of was like,
wasn't an exciting game though,
until not really.
The Broncos just took turns kicking each other's ass for a quarter and a half.
The Broncos went up they had 24 points, and they had 24 points for the majority of the game, and then they didn't do anything after that.
I don't really know what they would have going for them at all right now, because normally it's at least their defense that is kind of sturdy when they're not good, and their defense doesn't even look good this year. Sam Howell looked fucking great.
Sam Howell's been a highlight for them.
The Twitter nerds are all over Sam Howell.
But that the no call on the pass interference for the 2-point conversion.
You just no one said this too. You just knew they weren't going to get it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I just knew.
Absolutely
it was like,
but I mean,
my mom was sitting here actually, and we were
been
watching it on the
fun.
TV, and they get the Hail Mary, and I'm like, I did like a,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh, but they're not getting the 2 point. And I said that I was like, they're not going to get the 2 point.
This is
watch.
probably a dumb question. Say it was like 35-34 instead. Do you think they still go for 2? I feel like Sean Payton's that type of coach.
Sean Payton probably would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious what your thoughts.
Probably be like 60-40 that he would.
Yeah.
Washington's
Especially how he saw how his team was playing in the second half.
Washington is a little frisky, and we did say this on the NFC.
Dude,
East
I mean, they're going to make
predictions.
the playoffs at some point. Like,
Oh, I don't see why it can't be this year.
whether it's this year, like if it wasn't last year, the year before, this year, next year.
They're always
something
right
like
around the cusp of a wild card.
Yeah,
so
they're normally like 7, 8, 9 wins.
and this
every year.
2-0 start is only helping them. So
Your team's not making the playoffs.
that. Probably not. Yeah, if you want to talk about that game, I mean, if you want to judge the Giants in the second half, they did exactly what they were supposed to do to Arizona for a half, was kick their ass. But I mean, Jesus,
I'm
their
happy that Saquon's only out for 3 weeks.
Yeah, that was that kind
It
of
looked
took
worse than it.
that took
it was.
all
I thought
the
it was
joy.
out forever.
That really took all the joy out of that win, because that was a great run that he had, and the next play he gets tripped up and ankle gets rolled or whatever. When he slammed his helmet, I was like,
That's when I
dude.
thought too. I was like, oh, it's bad.
But then he was
would
walking
know.
around afterwards on the sideline. But the thing is with the Giants is that the defense sucks.
They're really bad right now.
The defense looks terrible, and
They made
that was
Joshua Dobbs look like
that was supposed to be moving in a really good direction, because the D line was pretty damn good that last year. They were a clutch defense. They got big plays when they needed to. Now they're not making big plays, and the pass rush is not there at all. And the pass rush needs to be there, or San Francisco is going to drop 45 on them this week.
What's up?
Who are my 2 running backs in our league?
Saquon and
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, yeah.
Great week for my team. See you later.
Yeah, I had Nick Chubb in one of my teams too.
I mean, yeah, Nick Chubb. That injury was bad.
Yeah, so before we really talk about the Browns and Steelers, the whole running backs getting paid kind of thing, and them having their own meeting.
I
in the
never agreed with
offseason.
them getting paid. I never agreed with that.
I mean
This is just case 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 already. That Eckler's hurt.
Right.
Saquon's hurt.
all the guys that
Chubb
were
is out for the
involved
season.
in that whole thing too
Yeah.
are the ones that are out.
because it makes sense. Like, that was actually the one thing that I was proud of the NFL for doing, was just coming out and being like, we're not paying, because like, you guys you're not valuable enough.
Right.
Like, it's like, you guys play for a solid 2 or 3 years,
And then you get hurt.
and then you get hurt, and then you don't come back.
I
Like,
hate to sound rude.
they're expendable.
And-
I hate to sound rude, but they're like a whore. Like
They
you just-
are.
you
They're
just
very
fuck 'em a couple
replaceable. They are.
You fuck them a few times, then you get bored, and then you're like, all right, see you later.
Exactly.
You got,
They have
dude.
one
If
to
you're
two
gonna be a
good
great
seasons.
team, you got to be a pimp, and you got to have a deep backfield with 3 or 4 decent guys.
But it's like, if you draft a running back, it's like, how often are they not like at least like serviceable? Like, how often do you see a really bad running back? Like, normally they're at least like competent.
If you're
It always depends on the offensive line too. Like,
Yeah,
No,
that's most of it.
Absolutely. You want to go
look
to a
at
Super Bowl, it's
Tony
not having
Pollard.
that star running back. It's having a good run blocking offensive line and 2 to 3 guys in your backfield that are decent to pretty good.
yeah, Tony Pollard is a perfect example.
Yeah, he went in like the 3rd round. Set her in the 3rd round.
Yeah, and they got him on a very cheap deal, and they had him, and he was a very good running back, enough for them to get rid of their star running back that they were gonna and
That they
did
signed
pay.
for too much money.
And they could throw anybody back there though, because before Zeke they had whoever
Exactly.
the hell
As
their
long as you
running
have a
back
really
was
good offensive line, anybody back there is serviceable. It's in the run and the pass game.
Oh yeah.
And now you have this like running back by committee thing now that they're kind of going towards, where like it's 2, sometimes 3 guys.
Which, why would you not, like, why would you be in a situation where you want to give one running back 25 touches a game? It's like, by the end of the season, they're just going to be shot.
And that's
Yeah.
that's where I'd say the Giants don't really have that deep of a backfield. Breida's fine.
Matt Breida, anytime touchdown scorer tomorrow night, is a lock.
You think
against
so?
his old team.
Against his old team.
Oh, that's right.
Lock it
Matt
in.
Breida, revenge game.
Matt Breida
No,
revenge game.
I like Breida when Saquon's there.
He's like a good change of pace. He's
He
fine.
is.
He's fine.
He's better than most running backs the Giants have had since before Saquon.
Is he a better pass catcher than Saquon is?
No.
No.
Saquon's their everything.
Yeah.
Oh. I feel like I don't see him catching passes very much.
I don't see any Patriots receivers catching passes much either.
You mean Giants?
No, I'm on Patriots.
Are you going to the Patriots now?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
They're bad.
So that 0
Thank you.
That 0-2 team.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just kidding. They're not bad.
But you in your heart of hearts just want, like, it's more of like a fan thing. You don't actually believe.
No, of course I want them to be good. Like, obviously,
No, but
it's through rose-tinted glasses.
Yes, okay, that's all I needed to hear.
But
I do still think they have a really good roster. Their defense is full of dogs.
Is Matt Jones a better than average starting quarterback?
I'd say he's right on the line, and I'd say he's above average. If you look at his numbers, he's above average.
I'd have to agree with Nolan, and
not by much.
Oh God,
Sal,
really?
Listen, Sal.
They
Not
just-
by much. Not by much.
Not by much. I'm not saying
Look at
great
it-
or anything, but like, dude, they just don't. They sign the worst receivers and they draft the worst receiver. Not like
They can't
bad,
draft
but,
a
like,
receiver to
just
save
the
their
most-
fucking life.
Just the most bleh
I mean, if you
receiving core.
if you put him on
year
like,
after year after year,
if you put him on like the Eagles, I'm sure he's really good.
he'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, if you give him like
He's only as good as the people around him, I guess.
yeah, he's Ryan Tannehill when they went to the AFC
Okay,
Champ-
all right, fair.
You know what I mean?
Fair.
Like,
If he
he's
had-
above average.
If he had a guy, a for sure number one receiver,
Like, you
he
give
could
him
be all
A.J.
right with this
Brown-
receiver.
But we don't sign DeAndre Hopkins. But we let him go
Absolutely.
to Tennessee for
Hey,
pennies on the dollar.
I couldn't agree with you more. And he could have this receiving core now. Like Juju's an okay two. I'd be fine with that. If you have a number one. If you have a number one.
You put DeAndre and Juju, and then whoever your third receiver is, whether it's Boutte or the other kid, Demario Douglas or Kendrick Bourne. Sure, that sounds way better.
I think Kendrick Bourne is a solid number three wide
Kendrick Bourne's
receiver.
been great.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they had DeAndre Hopkins, this offense would be a lot better because you have the number one guy, and then the other committee. There's a lot less pressure on them.
It's just ridiculous that Bill doesn't sign people to any money. Like they just refuse to spend money.
No, it's
I just
stupid.
don't think
They obviously
offensively he
haven't.
cares. He doesn't care about the offense. It's so annoying.
This team, though, so uncharacteristic of them before Tom Brady left. But what do they do to lose games? Like, now they find ways to lose games rather than win games.
Yeah,
they
it's like
become
a
so
bingo
good.
card every
They've been
week,
so
like-
good at shooting themselves in the foot.
We've done
To
the
figure out how to
lateral on
lose.
fourth down and not make it. We've done the not getting both feet in bounds. What was the first game? There was something in the first
Everything
game.
that would go in the Patriots' favor years
that was
ago
not getting the feet
doesn't
down.
anymore.
That's right. Yeah. It's like, what are we gonna do next week? Like, what's gonna be it next week? It's like,
I don't know. This week was bad enough. I can't believe they overturned that call. To be perfectly honest with
I
you.
can't believe that either. I mean, I can see it, but it's not definitive enough. And then especially
I agree.
when that fourth down that they didn't give
You know
to
what my-
Ramondre Stevenson.
You know what my favorite thing about the NFL is? Like, sometimes they're like, oh, we don't have the camera angle for that. Like, we can't see down that line. But, like, for the Patriots game, it's, like, clear as day, like, right down the line. Like, exactly where the ball is, It's, like, sure. Like,
And
of
even
course.
then, like the one camera angle they have, you can't even see the line because the guy's blocking it.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it from the other angle, the ref's left foot was right at the line. And then when they showed it right down laterally down the line, his foot was like behind the pylon thing. And I was like, okay, so that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then you can't even see it because the players are in the way. And then when you had the fourth down that you stood before, when it clearly was a first down, is like, what?
I have a question.
What?
We have VAR in soccer. We have, like, goal line technology. Why are we using old school chain gangs in the NFL?
Bro, you put a chip in the football.
We're letting 80-year-old men measure 10 yards every time. Like, what?
I mean, you can say it for like any of
It's
the
convenient
sports.
for them, though. It makes it easier for them to,
It would be so easy.
do their thing.
It'd
Yeah,
be
do
so,
their thing.
It'd be so
They
easy.
love doing their thing.
It's a little harder to rig football than soccer, I think.
Yeah, they can't have.
Maybe not.
Telling you for the
I mean, soccer's the most rigged thing.
baseball is the most rigged sport. I'll stick to that for the rest of my fucking life.
I mean, it doesn't hold a candle to what soccer.
I mean, soccer you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
If you need an under the
In the United States, though,
yeah.
baseball is probably at the top.
Oh, yes, definitely. But like, if you need like an under, they can pass around for 90 minutes, no problem, and make it look like they're trying.
Yeah, but when you say baseball is the most rigged, do you mean like storyline rigged or just like gambling night by night?
that I don't know, because I don't know if it's purely for like entertainment or if it's for, because I don't think that many people bet on MLB. But some
I don't
of
think so either.
But some of these MLB games, I know I've brought this up before. Some of these MLB games are just
It's probably third.
crack cocaine.
MLB's probably third.
MLB is retarded. Like I said, there'll be an over under, or there'll be like a spread where it's plus 1.5, and the team's like,
it's so hard and so annoying to bet on baseball.
Oh, I don't put my energy.
It's so annoying.
It's the worst.
I would only do the no runs first inning thing. That's the only thing I would bet on.
That's good though.
You can't bet on over under because then it's like, okay, then like,
oh, they have 7 runs through 2 innings.
Or
just bet on a guy to throw a ball.
Yeah,
you love that
because I did it.
You know what? I've been on a binge lately.
I did it twice. Won money. Then the second time, 5 minutes later, and lost money.
I've been on a binge lately of watching the John Boy breakdowns.
Those are fun.
I don't know why it came up on my YouTube the other day, and I've just been going down the rabbit hole. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, baseball's the dumbest sport.
It really is.
Like all these things that happen, and then they empty the benches over the dumbest little thing, and I'm just like, why? I'm like, it's so dumb.
The thing is though, when you have to play off baseball, it's really good. That's why.
Because none of that all that shit goes away. Like all the dumb shit.
It's
goes
like
away.
they start caring. Like I know it's
literally,
like a long
dude.
season, but like
literally, it is what it is. Literally,
it hurts that the Yankees aren't going to be there because it's such an interesting field, and the race is coming. The race is really cool on both ends of the wild card.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting, but I mean,
like with the Orioles in there and whatever the hell's going to happen.
The Orioles win the World Series,
that'd be awesome.
That'd be insane.
But I feel like. Even though they're
Mariners,
probably not going to win the division, they might win the division. I don't know.
Mariners Braves World Series.
That'd be awesome. That'd be hot.
I mean,
the
MLB
would
Braves
love
look
that
like the best
matchup
team
too.
ever. The Braves look like it's theirs to lose at this point.
They should win that World
Series. I would love a World Series game in Seattle. I feel like that crowd would
be insane.
That crowd would be ridiculous.
It would be them, and when it comes to how fun of a playoff atmosphere it is, Toronto and Seattle.
Toronto's really good.
Toronto's because it just feels like you're in this. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Even when you're watching TV, it's just like it feels like their fans are on
like that Jose Bautista home run in the playoffs
when he bat flipped.
Yeah,
that was one of the best. That's one of the best, like recently, like MLB moments.
But like their crowd was like, oh
yeah, it's just like the way their stadium is. It makes it feels so enclosed. Like all the fans are just right there on top of you.
What would be your World Series? Just throw one out there.
Braves and. God, I love what you said. I haven't really thought about it, but Braves in Seattle would be awesome.
It'd be really hot.
I'd really love. I don't think
Houston's gotten back there. Done.
I hope not, dude. But then I look at them and they're just sitting there in the bracket, and
then you're just like, it's Houston. They love Houston.
No, it's not Houston. It might be Baltimore.
It's not Houston. Texas is kind of hurt.
I like Texas. If they had DeGrom, they would be really scary right now.
I know, but
he's a hospital.
Sure, and Scherzer's not going to pitch again until the playoffs. American League is weird.
He looked really bad when he was pitching there.
He did. I think the American League is all fucked up right now.
So
maybe it's just going to be the Orioles or the Rays.
Okay.
I don't.
How did we get on baseball?
I don't know. We just
we were talking about how rigged
something is. So if we want to talk about something like that, the Rams, the Rams kicking the field
and then he has to hold a press conference saying I had no idea about the spread of the game. It's like, what is the need to say this? Like,
yeah, that was really weird. I mean. They might have just heard me say Rams plus 8 on the podcast. That's what I would think. But like that was faded. Why did they kick a field goal?
I would imagine the last leg of your parlay came down to 49ers minus 7.5, and you watch that field goal throw.
Oh man.
Oh,
I know. I definitely know. That's probably what it was. It was Vegas making a call.
They definitely made a call.
There was a lot of money on 49ers minus 7.5.
100%.
Everyone thought that they would kill the Rams.
Oh yeah. And, like, we kind of sat here and thought somewhat similarly, but at the same time, we were like, maybe the Rams are decent enough to keep this game close and they're at home.
That's what I said. I said they'll probably keep it close. I mean, it's always just like, you know.
I feel like those teams always play good games.
It's the NFC West.
Yeah.
They always play good games. So I was
Puka Nacua is the best receiver in the league.
I guess so.
But here's the thing: is that if Kupp comes back, Stafford's been one of those guys where he has one guy and that's all he focuses on.
So is Cooper Kupp a system receiver?
I don't know.
He might be. If that's the case, then is Calvin Johnson a system receiver?
Calvin Johnson wasn't good.
Okay. Someone looked that up. They were like, all the receivers that Matt Stafford's played with have had like
crazy numbers.
I think, but it is that because he likes one guy.
I think Calvin is the best receiver ever, personally.
I physically think he is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say Randy Moss.
That's also a good answer.
Like greatest ever, right? Greatest ever, I'd say Randy Moss. But if I'm starting a team and I could pick any receiver in their
Calvin
prime right
Johnson,
now, I'm taking Calvin Johnson because he's so
prime,
insanely fast, but at the same time, he's just bigger than anybody that would be.
You would have to pick Des Bryant though.
Yes, you have to throw up the R's.
That's a name I haven't heard of in a long time.
I just think that like his
Bryant,
body type and his physique in his prime would be perfect for the NFL right now.
Dude, he looked like Gronk.
Yeah.
If he was running a 4.40.
Yeah, especially all these like really small defensive backs now, like
yeah, those are some of my favorite
5'4" guys that are
some of my favorite highlights to revisit is Calvin Johnson highlights.
All right, so where do we go now?
I think we're going to week 3.
Okay.
And I already know my pick 3.
Okay. Well, we're not there yet.
I never know it like
Good.
ahead of time.
I'm happy, dude. This is progress.
Thursday night. This is not one of them, and I will not tell you
not.
either.
Okay, yeah.
Thursday night.
I hope not.
New York Giants. No Saquon Barkley at the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers are 10.5 point favorites. Over under is 44.5 points. Mr. Resident Giants expert, Antonio, how does this game play out?
The Giants might score 20, but their defense is so bad, and San Francisco's defense is so good. I have a hard time taking the points here, especially with the Giants on the road. I know sometimes San Francisco can kind of leave the back door open, but
Do you really trust Daniel Jones?
I don't see it.
To enter the back door.
Enter the back door.
I don't. I mean, I'm not saying like the Giants are gonna get like fucked up on their offense or anything like that. I think their offense could have a good day, but their defense it's not gonna stop it. Not gonna stop San Francisco from putting up 30.
I think this is one of those spots where I'm just not going to overthink it, and I'm just going to take San Fran. Like you said, Giants, no Saquon. They've looked really bad. They ended that game on a high, though. Maybe they take that momentum into the first half of this game, and maybe they keep it close in the first half. But I just think in the war of attrition, San Fran's going to outrun them. And, no Saquon. Their defense is bad. They're on a long West Coast road trip here. They haven't been... because where did they start? What was week 1? Where was it?
It was in New York.
It was in New York. Okay, yeah. So then they go to Arizona. Now they're at fucking 49ers, and then they have to come back home. I think San Fran easily covers this spread.
San Fran should easily cover this spread.
Now, tell me why the Giants are going to cover.
I want to. This is a game where I'm very unsure.
I could tell you really want to pick the Giants, but you should.
He wants to pick the Giants
really want to pick the Giants.
He's foaming at the mouth.
But, then when it's 14-0 in the first quarter of San Francisco, you lost.
You really want to pick the Giants, but at the same time, you can't think of any good reason to.
80% of the money is on San Fran.
That's the reason. Okay,
and
tell me
with no
94% is on San Fran money line.
Now, with there being no Saquon, that's obviously going to change up their play calling, and that you're definitely going to see Daniel Jones run the ball quite a bit more in this game.
And they did.
That's what they did last year when he was out.
I don't want to say at all that their offense might look better, but they might be able to scrap for 3-4 yards of play every play, and they might just be able to strain the game out. What is the score that they get to that they
23?
Huh?
23.
What, the Giants?
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's. Literally, I said maybe they'll put up 20, but I still
don't see 35-23.
The 49ers. That's
a good score.
The 49ers have to put up 30 points
now. Right. There's that, Sal. So if you want a reason to not pick the Giants, do you remember what that offensive line looked like against Dallas?
Now they're playing San Francisco. Better than San Fran.
I just think the game plan has to be
Nick Bosa and Evan Neal. Oh,
you haven't covered either game, right?
No.
All right, I'll take the Giants.
The game plan's gonna have to be. Listen, the only way I see the Giants making this an interesting game is if they take what they did in the second half against Arizona and bring it into this game where Daniel Jones is gonna have to move the ball. He's gonna have to move out of the pocket.
Their defense needs to play a lot better.
He cannot stay in the pocket.
I could argue that they figure out their offense in the second half of that Arizona game, and maybe they come out.
Absolutely.
I think they figured something out, but then losing Saquon just kind of.
They did, and they started taking some shots down the field, and that kid Hyatt had a couple of pretty big plays.
Mm-hmm. I want to see.
Maybe
I want
they
to
just
see
had to
Darren
get that
Waller
first
get
touchdown.
involved.
You know.
Yeah, they need Darren Waller involved
They-
a lot more.
They were starting to go to him a bit more, and they had a nice little thing there where he was getting the ball.
He might have like 10 catches Thursday.
Yeah, over receiving yards on him for sure.
Over receptions Thursday. Whatever it is, hammer that.
Okay.
Sunday at 1. I'm going right to it first. Jets, Patriots.
Okay.
Jets are 3-point dogs at home. Over unders 37 points.
Under.
Under 1,000%. The Jets cover and win this game, Nolan.
Remember, this was the 10-3 game last year, or 9-3. Did they even kick the
extra point?
I think they did. 10-3. Scored at the end of the game.
The Patriots scored no more than 10 points in this game, and I know the Jets won't score that many.
They're gonna score 7. It's gonna be a 10-7.
I shouldn't say the Jets won't score that many. The Jets won't score like a lot of points, but they'll score more than what the Patriots will score. 14-10, 14-13. I don't care. They're definitely covering this game and they're winning.
You know I have to take the Pats. History repeats itself. They do not lose against the Jets. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad. It doesn't matter if the Jets are good or bad. Zach Wilson is having nightmares right now going up against this defense. It's gonna be like a 10-6 game.
Did you see what Bill said when he got on the podium today?
No.
He's like, "Oh, Jets week."
Yeah, because he knows, dude. He literally circles these games like on his calendar, and he like, I swear to God, he's like, okay, so we have to be a good team this week.
Yeah,
and it's like, do what you do for the Jets every week.
I think this game's gonna get out of hand quicker than like you think.
Sal, this is the spot that the Patriots look like a good team.
No.
Yeah. Because it's the Jets. The week after, they're going to look like right back to where they were.
This is your rose petal glasses or whatever you said.
Rose tinted glasses?
Yeah, whatever.
Fine. If it's got to be against the Jets, it's got to be against the Jets. But I'm telling you, they're going to be bad again next week. But this week is not it.
Shout out to the Barnes family. There's a little, downstairs whatever fiesta for this game at Eric's house. So yeah. I feel like that adds to my pick a little bit. Like they'll be they're all
going to be there. What?
They're all going to be there.
Wouldn't that be the thing? Wouldn't that be when they lose though?
No, that's when they win. New place, new energy. They're winning there. Once I heard Andrew say that, I loved the Jets.
Well, you love the Jets anyway.
Not in this game. If I came in with a blank slate, I might have picked the Patriots, but I'm picking the Jets 100%.
I don't think you've picked the Pats once this year.
I did last week. No, I didn't last week.
There's no way you did.
I took them against the Eagles.
We did. We liked them against
I did.
Only because of the Tom Brady thing.
Yeah. And then what did they do? Not cover. Antonio, take the Patriots so we can move on. Okay.
I didn't even want to say
Yeah,
it.
All right.
It's me with the Patriots, and it's also the Jets.
There's
nothing I need to say.
Teams we each all take every week. I take the Browns every week. He takes the Patriots and the Broncos every week.
I take the Lions.
No, but
Lions
especially
every week for you.
Especially this, I feel like
I'll take him
I feel like
too.
Bill Belichick every time this matchup happens. I'm like, oh, Jets.
It's so funny because I know one of Nolan's pick three already is the Patriots.
Nothing I need to say about.
I don't like putting them in the pick 3. You know that.
There's nothing I need to say about this game. You know not.
Well, what a segue to go from that game to your favorite team, the Denver Broncos, plus 6.5 in Miami, over under 48.5.
I heard somebody on TV say to like, oh, I love the Broncos spread this week, and I was like, no, don't say it.
Antonio,
it's supposed to rain.
Antonio,
don't. What you're about to tell me? They're covering 100%.
I would marry the Broncos spread this week. I would marry it. I would literally.
Sal's going full Sal this week. I love it.
I would. Antonio, please take the Dolphins. If you take the Dolphins, it's the biggest lock ever. The next 3 words out of your mouth are the most important in my life.
Nothing.
I will put $500,000 if you take the Dolphins, because that means the Broncos 100% cover.
It was plus 7 like a day ago, dude. It's literally like the meme where it's the clown like painting his face.
That's Antonio going to take the Broncos every week. Let's hear it. He's literally fighting his demons.
I don't want to, man. I don't want to.
He's getting a migraine.
Like, what am I going to say? Like, yeah, I like him against the Dolphins in this spot, but what am I going to, like, what am I going to sit here and pick the Broncos again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
am.
no. Really?
But I like the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Final answer?
He's got the angel and the devil, and the devil is just Russell Wilson. He's like, yeah, come on, pick me.
There's no good reason to. Fuck it. Get away from me.
Dolphins?
No.
Come on.
No, get away from me.
Fuck.
He can't do it.
He can't take it. You'll never be able to.
I'm taking the Dolphins. The Dolphins probably score 40 this week. On
this game is either one of the retarded rigged games where it's like close the whole time, or it's 40 to 14.
I also said last week, I said I'm taking the Broncos every week until they cover.
Yeah,
you have to.
Earlier today, I thought I was going to break that. Promise.
I swear you say something like that.
But then you got
back. When I was looking at the games with my crystal ball.
But then you got back into your stash and you know how good it is now.
Do you do like a seance every morning before the podcast when you look at all the games and you see into the future? You're like Raven Simone.
I go deep into the depths.
Going deep,
of my genetic memory.
Deep in the backdoor.
I needed him to say Dolphins because that would have been the biggest lock.
He would have put so much money on that.
Ever. I would have had.
He might have saved you though.
I would have put at least $500 on the Broncos.
Yeah. Okay, yes. So you saved him.
Mike McDaniel's funny as shit, by the way.
Mike McDaniel.
Fuck Mike McDaniel.
He's so annoying. I hate him, dude. He's so annoying.
We're moving on.
Yeah. I was saying he's like the kid at school. Like, he'll like say stuff and you just look at him and go, shut up. Like, he's like the kid in the corner. He like says stuff when you're not supposed to. Like, he'll just say like a quirky thing and you're just like, shut up. That's who Mike McDaniel is. What's next?
Bills at the Commanders.
Ew.
Bills are a 6.5 point favorite on the road. Over under is 43.5. Now the old adage with the Buffalo Bills is they're not good in close games. And
right.
This, I think, should be a close game.
I'm surprised that so much money is on the Bills right now.
I think people see one game with the Bills looking good and they just want to hop back on. Like,
you think that's what it is?
They're just like one of those teams where everyone's like, "Oh, I love them. I love watching them play. Like, oh, they're so fun."
Because I feel like especially this is a trap. But then again, when I saw the percentage of money, I was like, "Wow."
Everybody always loves the like the little brother of like the team.
But also
right now, like the Chiefs are the team and the Bills are the team that are always going to be in that mix to maybe beat the Chiefs, and everybody always loves that team.
Yeah, it's like they're like the Colts to the Patriots. They're like, who else would it be? They're like the
Chicago
Saints
Bulls
to
the Miami Heat. Back in the day, everyone loved the Bulls.
Yeah,
LeBron.
Yeah.
Rams sending running back Cam Akers to Vikings for a swap of 2026 draft picks.
Can I please?
That's gross.
My fantasy teams would be so happy if we can get Jonathan Taylor on the Baltimore Ravens. I have Jonathan Taylor in so many leagues, and if you can just get traded to the Ravens, he'd be so good.
Is he coming back at all? What's he doing?
After week 4, he's eligible to return, and they're probably going to end up trading him if they can, but if they can't, then he should be playing for the Colts.
I definitely think the Ravens could use him.
He'd be hot in purple.
Really hot. Yeah.
I'm taking the Commanders.
I'm also taking the Commanders.
I love underdogs. I don't know what I'm like.
It's the premise of the podcast.
I like that.
Why do you think it's named that?
But I don't know. I should be taking the Bills. Like, the Bills are a much better team than this team is.
Are they? They have a way better offense. I'll give you that.
6.5 seems a little disrespectful to Washington, though.
It
does. I was gonna say I'm surprised this line is.
And 80% of the money's on the Bills, and the line hasn't moved.
Yeah. I mean, I'll happily take the Commanders and lose, but I don't feel strongly about this game. But I think the Commanders can keep this within 4 or 3 or 2 for most of the game. I think it could be a field goal or a 1-possession game.
I like the under in this game too.
When I was looking at the games, this was like a game of the week contender for me.
No, this is definitely an interesting one, and I actually like Washington too. If we want to conclude that and make it around to Washington,
I think this is a good test for Washington too. By the way, this is
it's a phenomenal.
This is a good chance for them to come out and kind of flex their muscles a little bit. Even if they lose in a close game, they can be like, we are a contender.
If they win this week and they're 3-0 with a win against the Bills, I mean.
Yeah, that's going to say something. But I do think, regardless if they win or lose, they cover that 6.5.
The Bills can't lose this week, can they?
I mean, they can. I don't know if they will.
They are capable of losing this week.
They are capable of losing.
I don't.
But like they're going 1-2 to start. I don't think so.
They could. Especially now that the Jets and Patriots are kind of especially the Jets.
That helps.
Now
I was
that the
going to say
Jets
with the
are,
no
like,
Aaron Rodgers thing, I think that kind of helps their cause a lot for this division.
But even if they come in second to
I still
Miami,
picked
like
them to win the division.
I kind of
anyway.
want to switch now because I don't think that the Bills can lose. So why would I? So I'm saying
6.5 is a lot of points.
no. But the point is, I'm saying that Washington is going to lose by exactly 1-6. Like that's an awful bet. If I think the Bills are going to win, I should just take them to cover.
Well, no, that's not bad though. If you think they're going to cover that, if you think it's going to be a close game. Like, I think Washington is more than capable of winning this game.
No, I agree. I don't know. I'm torn on this game. You both said Washington?
Yeah, we did. Washington has the capability to give Josh Allen some fits. And when he starts to turn the ball over,
I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think their defense kind of looked, especially like against Denver, they looked kind of.
All right.
They gave up 30 points to Denver.
We'll move off this game. I'll stay on Washington.
Like, what was Denver's points per game last year? Couldn't have been more than 20.
16.
16, whatever the fuck.
Like, so you give up 30 to that team? That's kind of nuts.
Indy traveling. Oh, well, how appropriate. Indy traveling to the team that they're trading Jonathan Taylor to.
Interesting.
The Baltimore Ravens. Spread is 7.5. Obviously, the Ravens are favored. Over-under is 45.5. Anthony Richardson is questionable for this game with a concussion.
I think he'll be back.
He looked very good against the Texans while he was in there.
This is also like you wouldn't think it is, but like it actually is an exciting matchup.
You want to talk about how I get the Bengals games wrong every week? I also get the Ravens wrong every week.
Yeah, you do.
So do you just get every pick wrong?
Actually, yeah, I went 4-11 last week, so
Yeah, that wasn't
pretty
good.
much.
I really want to take the Ravens here, but why does the Colts feel like the right pick to me?
Because Baltimore struggles with covering big spreads. That's why. They're not very good at covering spreads more than a touchdown. It's kind of like, I don't know if that's like their thing or like they kind of play down to their competition. That's been their problem for the past like 2 or 3 years. Ever since that year that they went like 14-2 or whatever and then lost in the playoffs, the years after that they've kind of just like played down, and then they get into these like pissing contests with any team that they play.
Oh, right.
And it becomes like
Indy's kind of a good bad team.
They are a good bad team.
Yeah, they are a good bad team because they have a good system.
I'll take my wrong pick now.
Even with Gardner
take
Minshew, they didn't look bad when he came in for Anthony
Gardner
Richardson.
Minshew going into Baltimore is a lot different than Gardner Minshew coming in against Houston halfway through the game when they're already leading.
Yeah, that's true. I'll take Indy.
I
like a lot of big underdogs this week.
I'll take Baltimore on the sole fact that I think they are going to be, what's the word I'm looking for, front running a little bit. Because if they get up like 7 or 10, they're just going to feel really good about themselves. And then it's going to be like, I feel like it just snowballs after that. But if it's a close game.
I feel like Baltimore's really bad at doing that.
I don't know.
They don't pull away from teams.
I feel like, yes, you're right. But at the same time, sometimes like in games, they're just very...
They're if I'm gonna side with Nolan here, they're definitely a second and third quarter team.
Yeah, no, I get your point.
They love the second and third quarter.
They don't like close games out very well, but at the same time, I do feel like against some certain teams, they go into this mode where it's like they're just gonna run the ball down your throat every fucking play, and you're just not gonna be able to stop them. Like I feel like that could be the situation here. So
Okay.
I'll take Baltimore. I don't know. I don't feel great about it. But
You took the Colts, Antonio?
yeah, you both took the Colts.
Houston. He always sneaks in his pick. I feel like.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes when I listen back to the podcast, I don't know what he picked. So
Well, you literally didn't hear me. I technically, with my voice, I didn't pick for the Patriots and Jets game. But
That's true, but like we knew that. Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah. Houston at Jacksonville. Houston is a 9.5 point underdog. Over under is 44.
do we trust Jacksonville to cover these big ass spreads yet?
I do against this.
I don't know.
team.
I was gonna say Houston's pretty fucking terrible. I think they're gonna, especially coming off a loss where they didn't really score if at all.
Houston's poverty franchise.
It's like what
I don't have any confidence in them, so I'm just
gonna say, what is the point? But like now it's like, oh, it's so obvious that we should be taking -9.5. It's like, I don't know.
Is it obvious, or are we just informed bettors based on what we've seen?
Well, yeah, we gain new information every week, and with new information,
Because I feel like there are certain spots out where you're right. Like we're like, okay, this is like a little too fishy, and I definitely do see some of those games in this board, but this is not one of them.
I don't know if I'm actually smelling that much fish this week.
I'm smelling fish in some of them, but not this one.
Some guy at my work today cooked fish, and the office smelled terrible. And then,
So the fuck is wrong with that guy?
well, not cooked, but heated up.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's wrong with? Why do you do that? Why do you don't bring that to work?
Because he's like the biggest tool. Like he's not like rude. He's just like one of those like office heads that's just been there.
I hope he doesn't listen to the podcast.
He does not listen to this podcast.
Why is that such a thing, though? Like, it's such a stigma to do that. Why would you ever do that?
What? Bring fish? Bring heat?
Yeah, you're not
Heat up
supposed
fish? Like, it's such like an unwritten thing
and
of the office.
My boss walks over and he's like, "It smells awful in here." And I was like, "Yeah, he just heated up food." And he's like, "Who?" And then he like said his name, and he was like, "Him?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Of course it will." It's like,
Yeah.
it's like
He's that guy.
He's that guy.
There's office has one guy.
He's that guy in the office.
that just wreaks havoc
Yep.
on the office for no reason.
I don't know what kind of fish it was, but I mean, I'm not like a huge seafood guy, but it doesn't sound like something I'd want to microwave for leftovers.
I like seafood, but like, bro, have some respect for the office.
I'm not a big. I don't know. Some shit sucks as leftovers though. Like if there's something that, like I'll eat it because there's a lot of it, and sauce is good. But if there's something that
The only thing I'd reheat is like salmon. But even then, like, it stinks.
you know what I fucking hate reheating pasta in the microwave.
not good
Because
I agree with
it's
that.
chewy.
It's so and like I'll just bring it as lunch because it's like okay, it's food to put in my body and it's still sitting there in the fridge. We get a shit ton of.
Well, you
sauce.
want to know what it is?
But-
Like, it just sucks all the moisture out of it.
Well,
from the microwave.
right, but then you put it in there for 2 minutes, you mix it up, and it feels hot. Then you take a bite,
And it's stone
like
cold.
half cold, and I want to vomit. Then I put it in there for 2 more minutes, mix it up.
And it's way too hot.
Not even that, and then it's like lukewarm, and I'm like, I still need more. And then it's like 6 minutes. I'm microwaving fucking pasta.
So the other
Might as well
problem,
just cook more pasta.
yeah, no. Well, the other problem too is like you take a bite and 3 noodles are warm and 3 noodles are cold, and
It's,
you're
I
like,
hate that shit, man. It makes me want to puke. I think it's so
Yeah,
gross.
even when you do like what you said, you stop the microwave halfway through and like you mix it up and then cook it.
No, like
the
Sal
other
said,
half.
you're literally better off just heating up whatever sauce you made in the microwave like the day before and making more pasta on the stove.
Because if it's gonna be 5-6 minutes, like you can make pasta in 5 to 6
Yeah,
minutes.
boil some shit up. Like,
So anyway, off that tangent,
whatever.
can you get to the game that I really am kind of just baffled
Also,
about?
cold pizza is better than microwave pizza by far.
disagree.
Microwave
I don't
pizza
know.
is fucking trash.
Depends on the
Put it-
pizza.
Put it in
Cold
the,
pizza is not that good.
Put it in the
How
oven.
cold though? Well, like what
Put
kind
in
of
the
cold are we talking?
in the fridge.
So you put it in the fridge overnight, then take it out the next day
Oh,
and eat
dude,
it?
I would for school, especially when I was at Hazardville.
I think
bro,
you're faded for that.
in my lunchbox at probably twice a week. They'd be
If it's like there and then like a couple hours goes by and it's sitting there and it's cold, or like not even a couple hours, like if it's after and then you're like eating it, it's better.
Yeah, when it's
than,
not like that overnight crust, it's not good.
But if I put it in the fridge, I'm gonna heat it up when I take
But
it back
if
out.
you're eating like, well, yeah, if you're eating like good pizza, you don't even want to eat that as leftover. Like,
Well,
if you
no.
get like Frank Pepe's or something, you don't want like you better
I
put that.
I
You
might
you better
disagree
put that in
with
the
this
oven.
too. Sometimes when you heat it up in the oven, it's like better than the first time.
the toaster oven, yeah.
Toaster-
Yeah, no. If you
Yeah.
put it on the bottom rack of the oven so you can get it crispy on the bottom, that's fine. That's good.
Modern pizza.
All right.
New Haven pizza.
Have you been to Modern?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
So fucking good.
We all took the Jags.
Yeah.
We
Get
also
to the
do
game
Jags.
that I'm baffled about.
Atlanta at
Nah.
Detroit. Detroit is a 3.5 point favorite. Over under is 46.5.
Wasn't the one.
Take Detroit and tell me why.
I'm taking Detroit because I just think they're better than this Atlanta team. I think this Atlanta team's just been kind of holding on. And they haven't really played a decent competition yet, like a well-coached competition. That was a good win against Green Bay. I think Green Bay kind of threw that one away. Yeah, I think they covered this 3 points.
I'm excited to see or hear what you have to say, Antonio.
No, that was pretty well said. I like the Lions a lot in this game. You really thought I was going to take Atlanta? No,
I did.
I don't see enough from.
That's like your second team is Atlanta. Oh.
I know. Second and a half.
Yeah.
Second.
But the difference with Atlanta is they often treat me well when I pick them. But this week I just don't see it. I don't think
they're good against the spread.
They have been, but I don't think they have a dynamic enough offense to win this game because they just kind of just run.
I agree.
And Detroit can fix it or mix it up a little bit. Dan Campbell's good for a faded play call or two every game, but I don't know. I just think this works out really well for Detroit.
I cannot put hard-earned dollars behind the Atlanta Falcons and Desmond Ridder. I don't care how many games and how many turnovers they have in a row. He is horrid.
Yeah, they need to run the ball with him.
They just have, their game plan is run the ball every play. That's what their game plan is, genuinely.
The Lions' offense is what the Atlanta offense wants to be. So that's why I think the Lions have the edge in this.
The Falcons should have picked up Gardner Minshew and just started him.
I mean, yeah.
Or they could trade for Kirk Cousins. I don't know.
Kirk Cousins.
I think they would have been better off keeping Marcus Mariota.
Kirk Cousins is
I actually agree with that.
I don't think. I mean, they went on that skid.
Where is Mariota?
He's on the
Raiders.
He's on the Maui Islands helping with the fires. Probably.
I thought he was still on the I think the Raiders brought him back.
Well, there was the quarterback show and they had an episode about him.
No, he's not in the league. He sucked. He was awful last year. And then he
was okay, and then they went on that skid where they lost. They lost like 7 games in a row.
He was bad all last year. He was terrible.
I'm saying that they probably would have been just better off keeping him.
It's like the same.
Yeah.
Round of Detroit.
I crop dusted a guy in a wheelchair.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Tennessee.
That's your boy from The Office cooking up fish. That's this guy.
Probably, right?
This is the game.
Tennessee at Cleveland.
Why is Cleveland -3.5?
Why is Cleveland -3.5?
Yeah.
And tell me why you love Tennessee.
I just want to know why Cleveland's -3.5.
Agreed Lions?
Because
Lions.
Without Nick Chubb.
Because they need money after getting the Vegas needs money after getting battered for 2 weeks, and they know that Cleveland's going to win this game by a touchdown to 2 touchdowns.
So they're baiting you into taking Tennessee.
They're baiting you. This is such a trap.
Ew, dude, I hate this game.
I love
because I hate taking
shocker. I love Cleveland in this game. Shocker.
Yeah,
dude, Tennessee's so week by week for me. I was going to say some negative things about Cleveland, but seeing them playing against Tennessee, I definitely like them against Tennessee this week.
Their secondary Swiss cheese. If Deshaun Watson's ever going to figure it out in one game, it's going to be this game.
That's what I was going to say, is we have failed to see anything close to the electric player that we saw in Houston so far behind the center for Cleveland.
I wouldn't be shocked if this is like opening drive, like Deshaun goes right down the field, marches 75 yards, and it's a touchdown. And then you're like, oh, okay. So
I haven't seen him do that ever.
I know. I really, really do not like Tennessee here.
I don't like either one of these teams.
I love Cleveland here.
But here's the thing, 77% of the money's on Tennessee. And then I look at Cleveland -3.5 is even money. So what? Why have they not moved the line if they're even money? They're literally begging you to take Cleveland, though. They're begging you to take Cleveland here.
No, I feel like they're begging. If they're not moving the line, they're begging you to take Tennessee.
I don't know, though. Why have they not moved it?
It should go to -3. Why is it not down to -3 yet?
It should be 2.5.
So why is it not?
Well, I think it could even be a pick.
So why is it not?
Because they don't have Nick Chubb. They just lost their main weapon.
What are we talking about 15 minutes ago? What doesn't matter?
Running backs?
Thank you.
But still, Nick Chubb is their only.
Everyone who places a bet on the Titans is going to say what?
Nick Chubb.
That Nick Chubb's out.
Thank you.
Well, also, I don't think this team's making the playoffs now. The running backs matter and don't matter to an extent. A running back can be a huge part in taking your team to the playoffs, but it's normally just not the team.
I mean, they weren't making the playoffs before Nick Chubb was out.
I liked them.
I thought they were squeaking in a wild card.
I picked them to win the division. I picked them to tie with Cincinnati at 11-6.
I picked the Ravens.
Now that is looking better.
Huh. All right, Cleveland.
Tennessee. I'll take the trap.
Cleveland.
All right.
Shocker, he picks Cleveland.
No, but now I hate Cleveland the rest of the year. Probably after this game.
This might be the game of the weekend.
Okay.
Chargers. There's no. I bet you picked Cleveland next week.
I don't know. Well, I said to Nolan after Chubb got I was pissed because he's
in Cleveland.
Chubb's one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's nothing good about this, but at least now I can just rule out Cleveland and stop caring about them as a team that could be in the mix.
I can't wait for Russell Wilson.
And they can just get the fuck out of the way.
Next week he's like, yeah, Denver's winning.
Oh, the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you're gonna come in and be like, yeah, Denver.
Chargers at Minnesota. This might be the game of the week, Tom. This is the definition to me of a loser leaves town. Whoever loses this game is done.
And the fact that both of these teams are looking at this game as a must-win makes this really good.
I like the Chargers a lot.
I know why you like the Chargers. I think this game is an easy under.
Okay.
And that would
54 is a lot.
That would be counterintuitive to how these teams play. Only because I think these two teams are both going to treat it like a playoff game. They think it's that important to them. So I don't think they're going to go for many fourth downs. I think they're going to play very conservative. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's 17-14 midway through the fourth quarter.
Whoever scores a touchdown first is winning.
Ooh.
This is you know what this is? This is a choke-off right here.
This is a choke-off.
Both of these teams are going to want to lose this game.
This is a good old-fashioned choke-off.
Neither of these teams, at the end of this game, neither of these teams are going to want to win. They're both going to make some faded mistake in the fourth quarter.
I can't say anything else about potential injuries because they happen.
No. Don't say anything about injuries.
I thought you were going to switch to the Vikings.
This is a fade. This is a fade off. This is a faded off.
This is a fade off, and a certain team with players that get injured a lot might be doing really well, and somebody might get hurt.
What, Keenan Allen?
I was going to say Allen.
I don't know.
Don't you dare say.
Well, he just hexed him like that.
Don't you dare.
Antonio put his dark.
I will kill you.
No, but the other guy does that too.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Williams?
No, he's talking about.
It could be either of them.
Well, Eckler's
but this is where they're up
Well, Eckler's out, right? Is he still out?
This is where they're up 26-7.
How long is he out for?
A couple weeks, probably. They
said I'm sorry.
What did he have?
What happened? An Anki, I think.
Anki?
An Anki.
Yeah. Oh, Eckler? Yeah.
All right, Antonio, why do you like the Chargers?
They're just flat out better than Minnesota. I think Minnesota's pretty fucking ass besides Justin Jefferson. I mean, Kirk Cousins is playing really well, but they just traded for Cam Akers. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if I necessarily care. They have absolutely no run game. They don't try to run the ball.
You know what kills me with watching the Vikings play? Everything just seems like it's hard.
It does.
Yeah.
It's
I think that's Kirk Cousins.
But if he doesn't get the right protection, his receiver doesn't run the right route, and it's not perfect time, it won't happen.
He holds the ball for too long.
He has Justin Fields syndrome.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the Chargers are way better. I really do.
Antonio, I want to take the Chargers. I really do.
I knew you were taking the Vikings probably before we got in this podcast.
I just think this is the Chargers' year to be 5-12 or 6-11.
I really don't think they're going to be good or come anywhere near the playoffs, but I feel the same. I feel the same way about Minnesota. I think Minnesota sucks, and I think this is their 6-11 year.
I think if they win this game, they're propelled to have a better season. They're going to have a close to winning season, if not a winning season.
Well, maybe. I'm not saying to be as bad as a 5-win team like you, but I mean, I see them at 7 or 8.
Like I said, but the Vikings are too good to have that shit of a season, and the NFC is too bad.
I guess
for them.
so. You're not can't you say that about the Chargers though?
What?
I think the Vikings are.
No, the AFC. Their division is insane. The Chargers are struggling.
I understand that.
You're not backing off your Super Bowl Vikings, right?
Did I say that they were going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I would say that. No, I'm not.
would say that.
I mean, I'm not totally off the Vikings. Definitely not. I'm not overreacting to them. Like I said, NFC is too bad. They're just not set up to have a 5-12 season. Unlike the Chargers, who are the AFC version of the Vikings that are set up to have a 5-12 season.
Right, and you pretty much have what's a lock for a division winner in their division. You don't really have that in the NFC North.
Can I take your
benefit?
Can I take a bogey on the Eagles? I don't want to take the Eagles anymore.
What?
For my Super Bowl pick?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys.
We'll get there. I think Minnesota wins this game. If you're telling me it's a pick and I have to choose which one of these teams, I'll pick the home team. I just think and Minnesota usually plays well at home, so I'll take Minnesota.
I can't wait for this game to end 46-44, and I said I love the under. That would just be so amazing. Last week I took the over as one of my pick 3, the Jacksonville over. Do you know every 1 and 4 o'clock game went over except for the Jacksonville game last week? Swear to God.
Wow.
Swear. There were 12 games. 1 and 425. I locked in the over as my one pick, and every other game goes over except for the game that I picked. That's insane.
That was supposed to be.
You should have known that was.
Yo, Kansas.
But like that's insane.
Yeah, that's.
Yo, Kansas City's defense looks fucking good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right, so Minnesota for me and Nolan, Chargers for Antonio. I don't feel great about that. I don't feel great about that game at all.
We ride.
All right. Saints +2 at the Green Bay Packers. Over under is 42.5.
Go ahead, Antonio. Tell me why you love Green Bay.
No, I like this.
No, you don't.
He's torn though. This is like 2 of the teams that he likes.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but I've been less enthusiastic about the Saints. God, if Green Bay wasn't at home, I would easily take the Saints, even if it was like a -5 for the Saints. I don't know. I guess the Saints have just looked. They haven't looked better offensively than Green Bay necessarily, though. I don't know. Derek Carr hasn't looked good at all, but their defense is still very good. Both of these teams are really hard to get a read on.
Are the Saints a 3-0 team?
I don't think so.
They could,
but they could be. Someone
could
from
be.
that division is going to be 3-0, huh?
Not
Not necessarily.
Nah.
I don't know.
Nah.
I think some of what Derek Carr is going through is like still trying to learn this.
I hate this game. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
He's like still trying to learn this system. I feel like he doesn't totally have it down yet. I mean, he did spend a lot of time learning the Raiders' offensive scheme, and like I don't know, sometimes that can be difficult, and then you can't get it right away, especially at game speed. So I think maybe he starts to figure it out a bit, and I think like how bad he's played is kind of a compliment to the Saints how they're 2-0. But like,
yeah, I don't know. After last week,
that just proves that they are a decent team. So I'll take the Saints here. I like them getting these.
I think
points.
I'm gonna go with the Saints coming with the Packers coming off that loss against Atlanta last week. I don't really love that.
The Packers.
I think they probably should have beat Atlanta, but
the Packers look 1-2.
Who are you taking?
They do look 1-2.
The Saints. Who are you taking? The Saints?
Yeah.
You hate the Saints.
No.
You don't really
See
care
what
anymore.
Sal said. This is a really gross game. It is, but at the same time, if it's on TV, I'm gonna watch it.
No, I think it's like a good game, but it's like 2 of those like weird ass like I don't even know how to describe.
I want to
teams.
watch it because I want to get a feel on.
It's usually the recipe, though. It's usually the recipe for a good game.
Nah, I'm flipping. Green Bay's winning this game.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you hate the
That's
Saints.
what I mean, Sal. Is that like something about New Orleans in Lambeau?
Yeah, they're not winning.
I
that.
just
Yeah,
hate it.
No, I'm all set. Carolina at Seattle. Seattle's -6. Do we all take Seattle and move on?
Yeah. I'll take Seattle.
Yeah, I'll take Seattle.
Dallas at Arizona.
Take Dallas.
Dallas is 12.5-point favorite.
Oh my god.
How many points did Arizona put up on this defense?
Yeah, I don't know. Dallas is normally a team that does well with the big spreads
5?
whenever they get
13,
one.
probably at the most.
5?
They probably will put up 5. It'll be 6. It'll be 36-6 is this game.
You have to take Dallas, but that makes me want to take Arizona.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know. I can't take Arizona.
No, not in this spot.
well, there's 2 12.5 spreads, so I think one of them.
I was gonna say
I think the Bears are more likely to cover.
the Chiefs don't do well with these big spread games. They normally don't.
Chiefs are another team that tend to play down.
I can't put money on Justin Fields.
But no,
I
that's what
will.
I was gonna say. Is
I will.
It's the Bears,
Yeah.
and the Chiefs' defense has looked really good.
But it's Arizona.
How many times does Justin Fields get sacked in this game? 10? Genuinely.
I think this is a spot where Kansas City again just can't really get anything going, and it stays close for
What?
no reason
And
at
what?
all.
So the topic out of this week is going to be what's wrong with Kansas City's offense.
Yes.
All right, I'll hop on the Bears, but I'm not putting any dollars anywhere near it.
No, I wouldn't put like actual currency on it.
Yeah, just based on history, I think I'll take the Bears, but I don't like it.
So we had a round of Seahawks, a round of Dallas, and a round of Bears.
We blew through those games.
Sheesh.
I mean, they're not really. There's nothing really notable to talk about other than the Bears being terrible.
I mean,
Dallas being a Super Bowl
talk
contender.
about nothing quite notable. How about this Sunday night game?
Yeah, Pittsburgh at Vegas.
Who picked this?
Vegas is a 2.5-point favorite.
Can we stop putting Pittsburgh in the fucking
primetime slot?
Sal, you want to tell me why you like Las Vegas?
I like Vegas because last year the Steelers won this game at home, so Vegas will return.
I was going to say, wasn't there a primetime game between them last year?
That was the.
That sucks too. This is going to be an exciting game for no reason.
Probably.
I hate that.
I like the over.
That
you like the over?
Yeah.
Okay.
That first quarter.
It's kind of high, I feel like, for this matchup.
Shit, you're right. Yeah, that first quarter in the Pittsburgh and Cleveland game was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a circus.
Sloppy fun.
All right, yeah, I'll take Vegas. I don't really give a shit. Two bad teams, I always take the home team.
I'll stick with my usuals and I'll take Pittsburgh.
Philly at Tampa. Philly's a 4.5-point favorite. Over-under's 46. Give me Philly. Give me Philly large. This Tampa Bay team is not.
Is this where the magic goes a little bit? Everyone's just high on Tampa Bay right now.
It's not as good as people want it to be, but at the same time, I will retract my preseason statement. They're not the worst team in the league. They have a small chance to win their division.
Well, my reservation with when we said that they were going to be bad is their defense still okay?
That's what I mean.
I think they've proven that their defense is still pretty good.
There's two things I took into serious consideration when I said they were going to be the worst team in the league. Baker Mayfield was going to be their starting quarterback, and Todd Bowles was their head coach.
Right. Their offensive line also looked pretty bad last year, but they don't look bad this year.
No, they played well. Weird. But they've also played who? The Bears and the Vikings?
Yeah. This is probably where the novelty wears off.
The rubber meets the road.
I agree. But I mean,
this is where Baker Mayfield starts to look like Baker Mayfield.
We're still going to linger a little bit on what we were just saying. I kind of also feel dumb for saying that they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league because they have a good roster.
That was always my reservation, but I understand why, because Baker Mayfield's terrible and Todd Bowles is terrible. So I definitely. That's why I co-signed the fact that they'd be one of the worst teams.
I would never pick them in this game. No.
Yeah, I'd say this is like an alternate spread kind of game, like Philly minus 7.5.
Yeah, this would be
or minus like maybe minus 6.5.
Did they cover against?
Covered against the Patriots.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. Final game. Bengals at home.
Super Bowl rematch.
No Joe Burrow. Most likely. I don't think that's confirmed, but most likely. Spread is minus 2.5 for the Bengals.
It was -1 earlier today, and if it was still -1, I would probably say put some money on the Bengals right now in case that line moves and he comes back.
I love the Bengals in this game.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we're picking it as is, I definitely still love the Bengals.
Yeah, even with the backup quarterback, I love the Bengals in this game. This is a spot where the Bengals need to win. You're at home. You're in prime time. Even if your backup quarterback has to come in for one game and try to right the ship.
But that's the reason why I think Joe Burrow does play.
And I'm sure they want a shot at the Rams.
Seems really stupid. I like them more if their backup plays.
That's the most Sal thing ever.
Right?
Like, yeah.
But that's the kind of weird shit that happens, you know?
I just think the whole rest of their team will, step up a level if Burrow's not in.
I definitely do see the incentive of taking it at this number in case Joe Burrow does decide to play.
Yeah.
I don't know who their backup is, but...
Jake Browning.
Yeah, something tells me they should have invested in a little bit better of a backup because you knew Joe Burrow was kind of hurt going into this season.
Well, the spread was 7.5 before the Burrow injury, just FYI.
Wow.
Yeah, so I definitely feel comfortable taking them at that number now in case he does play.
We agreed on a lot of games this week, gentlemen.
I feel like especially
those late window games.
I was going to say our second half of picks, we're quite in the same ballpark.
We're dick riding each other really hard.
I love that.
Going deep in the back door.
Getting wild on that cock.
Okay. All right. Pick 3 time?
Yeah.
How did we do last week?
Really rough. I
went 3-0.
Yeah, on opposite day. Last week, Nolan went 8-7-1 overall. I went 6-9-1. Antonio was 4-11-1. Nolan for pick 3 went 2-1 last week, bringing his season total to 3-3.
Love it.
I went 1-2, bringing my season total to 2-4. Antonio went 0-3, bringing his season total to 1-5. Gentlemen,
it sounds like a start from
and the only reason I went 2-1 was because of the Rams. That's the only reason.
Nolan, you are the leader in the clubhouse, so you'd have to decide.
Well, you already know yours, so you're ready to go. So I'll pick you.
I will hit a home run right now.
Okay, let's do it. Doesn't even need to bring out the phone. I love it.
3 for 3. Ready?
Yep.
Cleveland Browns minus 3.5.
Okay.
This is just a this is 24-10, 27-13. They're winning this game by 2 touchdowns. Deshaun Watson's going to look, I don't want to say like prime Deshaun Watson because he was a rapist, so I will say previous iterations of Deshaun Watson.
Okay, yeah.
Number 2, the New York Jets are covering against the New England Patriots. I don't put teams that are playing for, or I don't put the Patriots in here, and I don't put teams playing against the Patriots in here unless I am 100% confident. This is a Sal 100% confident game. The Jets are winning this game. No questions asked. Number 3, there was never a question I was coming here. Anyone? Bengals?
No, it's not. It's Baltimore.
The Denver Broncos.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Antonio's off the ship this week. That's all you
What do you
need to
mean?
know.
I picked them.
You did not want to pick them. That's the point.
He didn't want to pick them.
You did not want to pick them.
How do
And
you
that's
know I'm not about to put them in?
You're not putting them in your pick 3. I bet literally my soul, my liver, and my kidney. Like,
now he's gonna
God, I wish you weren't right.
I know you. Because you saw it for 2 weeks in a row. You don't have the stomach to do it again.
I don't.
Because I watched you do it for 2 weeks in a row, now I have the stomach to take your plays. That's what the difference is.
Hey,
you gave the addiction.
If I was
Sal.
in his seat, I'd probably do the same thing.
It's
Okay, see now that the Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers, Sal doesn't have like his dick ride team. So now you're permeating your addiction to him because he needs that dick riding team.
I don't like the Broncos. I like the Broncos in this spot.
But like it's just subconscious at this point.
Probably. Though. We got like the little like telepathy going or whatever.
It's the couch.
Sal connection.
Salvatore. I think there's a how do I want to word this? There's as good of a chance the Denver Broncos win this game as the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
Denver is 100% covering this game.
Okay. Mr. Fiore.
Okay.
How are we feeling?
Well, I mean, I like my pick 3 this week, but I mean, why? What's the point in saying that?
Yeah. You almost shouldn't say it.
I almost shouldn't say it. Do I get the obvious one out of the way?
Yes.
The Patriots?
Yeah.
They beat the fuck out of the Jets every time they play them, and that's just going to
continue. So normally I hate when he does that.
It's going to be like, dude, it's going to be like the Bears and Green Bay type thing.
But because you took the Jets.
The counters.
When he puts the Jets in his pick 3, they normally they normally lose by like a lot and don't cover. And then when you put the Patriots in there, they normally lose
they've
and
never
don't.
Covered when they've been in
So it's going to be interesting to see who wins this one.
It's going to be a push. The Patriots are going to win by 3.
You win by 3.5.
What's 2.5 right now?
I had 3.
Oh.
We go by Sal's numbers. Always.
Okay, that's fair. Doesn't matter. They're gonna cover because they own that fucking team. I actually like Detroit a lot this week. I like them to cover against Atlanta by maybe quite a bit.
Okay.
Sounded real fruity right there.
And then lastly, I love the Bengals at this spread that they're
Good
at
pick.
right now, whether Joe's going to be there or not.
Wow. So I kind of like the route you're taking because he normally doesn't get the Bengals games right, and he normally doesn't win when you put the Patriots in there. No. I like it though. You got to switch it up.
No, I like it too. I really like the Bengals line.
You got to switch it up.
Mm-hmm. And especially if Burrow does end up playing, I mean, God, that line's a steal. A steal.
All right.
Go ahead, Nolan.
Number 1. I'll get the obvious one out of the way.
Patriots.
Dallas minus 12.5.
I thought about that.
They're like you said, they look like a Super Bowl contender. They look like a Super Bowl team. Will they fuck it up at the end of the season? Probably, but not right now.
You love favorites as you love
big favorites. I love big favorites because it's so enticing to take the underdog that people love to take it.
Yeah.
And they forget Even when it's the Dallas Cowboys, they forget. They're like, oh, there's a reason why they're minus 12.5, especially in the NFL. Number 2. Give me Miami minus 6.5. I'm going against Sal here. Right. I think Miami is another team that has looked very good.
I lose this to Nolan more than I win, I feel like.
And I didn't know you were picking Denver because I was going to pick Miami no matter what. Miami minus 6.5. They win this at home. Denver, I don't think, has a good track record in Miami, so I think that plays a factor there. And last but not least, New Orleans plus 2.
Wow, not the Patriots.
I think the Saints go into Green Bay and win. I think Derek Carr slowly looks a little bit better. I think he's starting to get the system down. They do have Alvin Kamara back after this week. Not this game, I think, but the week after. I think that they're going to be humming along by the time he comes back. So, and they're going to be 3-0, which is kind of nuts. But, hey, that's the NFL for you. So, no, I was never putting the Patriots in there.
Surprised, honestly.
Yeah, no, I never was. All right, prop flop. I forgot what we picked last week. We got
Zay Jones touchdown. He had 7 targets and no catches.
What did I have?
I don't know what I had.
Oh, I had Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown.
You had a touchdown, but I don't know who it was.
Let me look at the games again. Maybe I'll remember.
This week, damn, it is. I think this one is a lock.
Go ahead.
And he hasn't scored a touchdown yet, so I'm very confident in this one.
Justin
Jefferson, anytime touchdown scorer. Even sprinkle in first touchdown scorer.
Okay. All right.
That's how much I like him on Sunday.
Matt Breida, anytime touchdown scorer.
I think we knew he was going with that one.
Who did I
like it.
I don't know. I don't know who I did last week, but Juju Smith-Schuster scoring a touchdown in New York.
That's gross. That's so gross.
In New York, he's scoring a touchdown and doing a stupid dance.
Oh, that's so gross.
You're gonna get good value on that, kids.
Oh,
go ask your parents for some money.
That's the worst pick you've ever made.
Ask your parents for their phone.
That's the worst pick you've ever made. That's the worst pick you've ever made on this podcast.
Juju, I need the odds on that right now, actually.
They probably don't have it up. It's probably not up yet.
They don't have it up because no one in the world has bet it.
Yeah, it's probably not even exists. You're going to have to call up DraftKings and get them to make it for you.
Where's the fucking Patriots game?
There's no way it's up yet. I don't think they put them up till
TD
Thursday.
Scores?
That's wow. Sal, that's the Jets are winning by 15, 14. Mm-hmm. Now that he said that.
Plus 425
and he put
on
it
Juju
in there.
Smith-Schuster anytime.
How's it not higher?
If you want to,
it should be 4,025.
If you want to pick him to score first, plus 1,600.
I feel like that should be higher.
Maybe it's plus 16,000.
No, it's 1,600.
There's no way it's 16,000.
Yeah, it's 1,600.
Antonio, what are we gonna do with you?
That made my stomach hurt when you did that.
I feel ill right now, honestly.
Yeah, that made my stomach hurt.
Final thoughts?
No, I think I really like the matchups this week.
I'm going 3-0 and pick 3, which means neither of you are going 3-0. So I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I feel bad for both of you.
I'll take a back seat. Sal's got to get going. We need Sal to get going so the rest of us can. He's going to get the momentum going.
Yeah, I'm the mojo guy. Once the vibes are high, everyone follows. So.
All right. Anything else, Antonio? No. Yeah, you're not allowed to say anything else. Goodbye.
Let's go, Pats.